But only one place to start, and that's with Cristiano Ronaldo. Carve, are we seeing a change in stance from United? Are they prepared, perhaps, to allow him to leave?
Look, I think they may allow him to leave, but only if Erik Ten Hag decides that his departure would be better for the club going forward. Obviously, the official position as far as United are concerned is that the player is not for sale. But everyone has seen how unhappy he is. You watch the game at Brentford on Saturday, his body language, the way the coaching staff asked him to go and acknowledge the United supporters, and he seemed to not be interested in doing that. He doesn't want to be at Manchester United, and ultimately, with time running out, United have to decide, how do we solve the Ronaldo problem? There's only two ways of solving this problem. One is sitting down with him, getting inside his head and somehow convincing him to forget about the Champions League, forget about the fact that him and his family don't want to live in the northwest, forget about all that and, you know, give 100% to Manchester United and totally change your attitude and body language. Or they're going to have to accept the fact that for everybody concerned going forward, it is best if he's allowed to leave. But of course, then you need to have somebody who wants to sign him. That is where it gets complicated. As we were reporting yesterday, there is still some interest from clubs like Chelsea and Atletico Madrid, but senior figures at both those clubs are not convinced that now is the right time to buy Cristiano Ronaldo. But I think ultimately it is now down to Erik Ten Hag. But as far as the club are concerned, he is not for sale.
There's a definite distinction, I think, as well, between Cristiano Ronaldo, the professional, and how he gears, towards his training and ultimate pro in that sense, doing extra shooting practice, the standards he sets for himself, and being the reference point for his teammates in those training sessions. I don't think that's ever been in question now. Everything else, though, he's making it quite clear that he is unhappy there, that he feels he is better than this current version of Manchester United. And you can say, well, he is possibly right when you look at their performances so far this season and how far they've fallen from the club he would recognize or he used to know. But he is part of the situation, he was part of their really humiliating campaign last time out, and even though he was the highest goal scorer, he was part of the problem in a sense of the entire system, and United had to change their approach from a very successful counter-attacking one to one that basically served him. And ultimately, it's what does he do in a World Cup year when there are no concrete suitors? No one's banging on United's door. So far, in terms of approach, United haven't had to make any decision, but Ronaldo's behaviour might force them into one.
Just on Ronaldo's behaviour, I was told today that Manchester United, in their current position, need somebody who's a leader and somebody of the status of Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the greatest ever footballers, one of the greatest ever sports people. They were looking to him to be that leader, to set that example to the rest of the players. And because he's not happy, exactly the opposite is happening. He's not setting that example. And because of the aura and the status that he has around him, very few, if any, of the other players are willing to challenge him or talk to him or try and, change his behaviour, because we're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. If he wants to leave, ultimately, a lot of people would say he's going to get his way. And I think it's interesting, the last time he left Manchester United to sign for Real Madrid, a lot of United fans were very, very upset, although it was telegraphed. They knew it was going to happen. This time round, I think it's much more split. Obviously, United fans are going to miss having him in the team and his goals, but as Melissa was saying, maybe it's for the best that he moves on for everybody concerned.
In your first answer, Carve, you were talking about the potential options for him. Now, you mentioned Chelsea, and it's been something we've been talking about throughout this transfer window, the meeting perhaps that Todd Boehly had with Jorge Mendes, Cristiano Ronaldo's agent. Does that remain a realistic possibility and a realistic destination for him?
I think it's a possibility. He's not a priority target for Chelsea. They're not going to go out and do whatever it takes to sign Cristiano Ronaldo. But if a deal is offered to them, there are certainly people at Chelsea who are interested in bringing Cristiano Ronaldo to the club. I'm not sure that Thomas Tuchel is entirely convinced that it's a good idea, but you have to bear in mind there are quite a few co-owners at Chelsea now, and we've seen the statement they've made in the transfer market and they're making in the transfer market. I think at least one of them, if not more of them, thinks, look, if Cristiano Ronaldo is available and he's willing to take a significant pay cut and the numbers make sense from a commercial point of view, then it would be great to have him in a Chelsea shirt.
Melissa, Carve says that Thomas Tuchel might not want him. Someone who probably does want him is Diego Simeone of Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, the complete inverse there, where Tuchel is like, I don't think this is the best for the club, whereas Simeone really thinks that Cristiano Ronaldo, both in terms of goal scoring ability, his status in the game, and the way Atletico could use him as part of their obstructive approach and then, feed him, would work wonders. Now, he's probably one of a minority at Atleti to feel that way about Ronaldo and the possibility of signing him. Again, the finances don't make sense. They've said it's implausible, not something that's really rooted in reality. And I think with all these options, even Sporting, which feels more like a fairy tale, the emotive return, even that is not actually concrete. It's none of them all lining up to say, please come, please, we want you, whatever the stakes are, whatever it takes. And I think that's why United still have strength in this situation. And the fact that Ronaldo returned to training and is training well, even though his other behaviours aren't helpful, suggests that even he knows that the option, if United don't want to sell him or if suitors don't become available, is that he might have to knuckle down.
It's not just about Ronaldo at Manchester United just now, because potentially other arrivals are what United are looking at. A couple of lines to bring you. One that's emerged in the last hour and a half or so. Manchester United interested in the Brighton midfielder Moise Caicedo. They're long-term admirers of Caicedo. They were looking at signing him when he was at the Ecuadorian club Independiente del Valle, when he went to Brighton in February 2021. It's my understanding that United will now have internal discussions about whether to make that interest formal in the form of a bid. On the flip side, though, Brighton have no intention of selling. He's only made 10 Premier League appearances. One of those, though, significantly came on the opening day of the season when Brighton beat Manchester United at Old Trafford and Caicedo impressed. One other deal potentially that looks a little bit closer is Adrien Rabiot, and United continue talks with Juventus over that deal. We think that's in its final stages with regard to a £15 million deal. They continue talks with his representatives as well. Talks are said to be progressing well, but they are not done.
Why is this taking so long with Rabiot? Why are these deals for Manchester United taking so long? Because you obviously have been reporting on United all summer, and a few times you've said the deal's been agreed with the club, but it hasn't been agreed with the player. How long does it take to sort out a wage?
A couple of the examples. We'll talk about Frankie de Jong, I'm sure, in just a moment. With regard to Adrien Rabiot, there are just personal terms that need to be sorted. And I've noticed more and more in this transfer window that the easiest part of the deal seems to be the club-to-club deal, whereas before it seemed to be the personal terms was almost a formality. But we're hearing it more and more now that personal terms are being the big obstacle in preventing a deal getting done. Look, Melissa, I've just mentioned a couple of names there. There are still plenty more names that Manchester United have been linked with but haven't been able to get over the line. Does that highlight the concerns people might have about United's recruitment, not just this summer but in previous summers as well?
Absolutely. I think United have had a habit of feeding into the manager's wishes and then constructing a squad not with a long-term vision in mind of what they want Manchester United's identity to be, what kind of team they want to resemble on the pitch, and really signing players to fit that and to provide balance. They have gone after managers' wishes, which have then left them with a mismatched squad and a very imbalanced one. And they do that to the point of then not backing the manager anymore because they're like, ooh, we backed the manager, this is not really working, we're going to stop it. And we saw that with Jose Mourinho. I think there's actually quite a few examples, David Moyes, where they haven't gotten everyone they wanted over the line. Now, ultimately, what we've seen this summer is Erik ten Hag is driving recruitment. He is an exceptional coach, brilliant on the training pitches and in terms of tactics, but he is not a sporting director, he's not a chief scout. And really, United should be giving him the tools to succeed by signing players that align with his strategy, but also, like I said again, what United want to do long term. We have seen so many names associated with United, and that's for two reasons. One, agents obviously smelling their desperation and the fact that they haven't been able to do much business. And one thing to say about United, the most crucial aspects of the squad, the places they need to strengthen most, which was midfield, especially defensive midfield, adding a progressive midfielder in there, right back, which is more of an issue than left back, and fortifying that forward position. They've not done that at all, and we're towards the closing stages of the transfer window. So agents smelling that situation have been offering them players, of which we know like Alvaro Morata is one. The other thing is United are in discussions with multiple players for multiple positions. So for the forward areas, for example, they've made inquiries to about 6 or 7 different forwards at the same time. So what's proving complex, I think, is one, the Ronaldo situation. People are, the potential targets are saying, well, what's happening with him? We want to gauge how much we want to play. But also the fact that they know that all these talks are ongoing. So, well, how much do you really want me? I really want to come, but why is this deal now stalling? Why are we not moving quicker? And we've just seen a scattergun approach. So we've gone from, okay, let's give Erik everything he wants. Ooh, Erik's not getting all what he wants over the line. Now let's just go for whatever we can get.
There is one player that has been constant throughout this transfer window, and that is Frankie de Jong. And we're told in the past couple of hours that the door is not closed on a deal to sign the Barcelona midfielder Frankie de Jong, but confidence is not high that a transfer can happen. So the door's not closed, but confidence is not high. United have, of course, throughout the summer been looking at other options, given the problematic situation and nature of the de Jong deal, and alternative options may need to be triggered soon. As you can see on the bottom right of your screen there, we have got only 16 days left in this transfer window.